All right. Hello, everyone. I am Jessica Mokhiber, and I'm here with Jill Sheehan of Empire Charter Consultants. We are continuing with this series of Q&As and reflections as Jill is in her 27th year of chartering, and she's had friends and colleagues from all over the country writing in with some questions for her to answer. And today we have some questions from Tracey Koren. And Jill, you can explain Tracey's relationship with you. First, I guess, and then we'll get to her question. So, yeah, how do you and Tracey know each other?
Tracy and I have been friends for 50 years. 50. So we call each other best frieds because we're kind of a-holes. And a long time ago, when we were in elementary school, there was a kid and he wrote best frieds forever. So we call each other best frieds, right? Like another inside joke. Tracy is my sister. She is a huge part of the DeMarco family. She has been a best friend, a mentor, an enemy. Like she has been everything in my life. Like at the best times and the worst times, Tracy has been there. And she's really nice. Like I think my kids really wish Tracy was their mom. She's super, 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 super nice, but don't mistake that for dumb or not vicious because she will take you off at the knees. Uh, Again, people would wonder how we're friends because she's so nice and I'm not. I think my son Jimmy asked me that. Jade is her daughter. I'm the godmom. She's the godmom of my kids. When my dad was sick and dying, like it was like Tracy's dad dying, right? So intertwined with the DeMarco family that you don't mention me without mentioning Tracy. As a matter of fact, I think it was at my grandmother's funeral. My mother was introducing all the kids, Jimmy, Joe, Joanne, John, Judy, Jill, Jeff, Jennifer, oh, and Tracy. And somebody's like, Tracy. So Tracy is life. She's just, she's everything. There is no bigger presence in my life than Tracy.
I can't see someone cry without my own your eyes tearing up.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Like, and on the other hand, I got her sucked into the charter school world. She works for Doug Lamave. I introduced Doug to Tracy, and she has worked for Doug for years. And he
That's
still owes me for that, by the way. I've done him like 5 favors. He still owes me for the Tracy. Tracy's like,
oh, that is so nice. And I'm such an empath. I can't see someone cry
I know,
without
wait, I gotta get tissue. I'm gonna keep recording that.
laughing.
Let me tell you the type of person she is. So I needed an emergency hysterectomy without getting too gross to people. And it was scary because I had had a number of surgeries, starting with a lumpectomy. I had had like a surgery a year, a major surgery a year, and she was always there for that. When I had my hysterectomy, she showed up the moment I walked into that hospital, and she stayed until the moment I left. I would wake up and she would be sitting there. She never left me,
So
ever.
Tracy's like a sister, another soulmate.
And I hate to say this, like, I love my sisters, but Tracy is my closest sister.
Sounds like your chosen family.
Yes. Sorry. I just love her so much.
Oh, and I like always, I'm a crier. So I can't see people cry and not cry. So
Sorry,
Tracy,
everyone. That's my son, Jimmy.
so Tracy's questions. What are you most proud of professionally achieving in these 27 years, and what was the most challenging part of reaching this professional achievement? She said, sorry, that's two, but that's okay.
All right, let's take the first one first. What is my
What are you most proud of professionally?
that I never backed down and I never walked away from doing what's right, even if I took personal hits from people. that I stayed focused on the work I did, which is how is this helping kids? And I didn't care who said what, who told me to stop saying stuff. I didn't care. I did what was right. And I did it at a cost, I know, in some way to my reputation of becoming difficult or, right, whatever the label was. I'm bitchy. She's difficult. She doesn't want to work with anybody. She calls everybody shit out. Blah, 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 right? That's what I'm most proud of because guess what? I've been right. And I think once we try to step back and appease everyone, the messaging changes. And no, I never back down. The messaging has always been the same. So that's what I'm most proud of. Okay,
This
what's the second part of
The
that?
second part is what was the most challenging part of reaching professional achievement?
That I have been given a reputation that I don't actually deserve by people who actually don't have the same moral compass that I do, that it's about kids. And I don't know if anyone knows what it's like to walk into a room full of people where you have very publicly disagreed with them and have to sit in meetings, and you have to do it knowing what they've said and what they're going to say. And you can think whatever you want of me. But if you want to know the truth, you pick up the phone and call me. And if you haven't, that's not my problem. That's your problem. I want to give a shout out to Heather Wendling and to Natasha Howard in that context. When Heather Wendling left SUNY, she called me. And so I'm sorry, Heather, if I'm not supposed to tell this story. Uh, she called me and she said she had left SUNY and she wanted to introduce herself, but I knew she worked there, but like she wasn't allowed to speak with me or answer an email from me, and I understood why. So I just asked her directly. I was like, "Why are you calling me?" And she said, "Well, we were wrong about so much. I figured we must have been wrong about you too." And it's like, right, because she actually wanted to know, am I this person that other people made out to be? And that's been the difficult part, but you don't last 27 years if you're the person everyone is making you out to be versus who you are. So, does that answer that?
It does. Yep. And that any kind of like,
Wait, Jess, am I horrible? Am I as horrible as people think?
so I was just about to say that's actually ridiculous. And I also don't think that you last 27 years in a movement if you're not doing the right thing and if that your North Star isn't the success of children and families. Um, and I also think that if you only please people, you're probably also not doing a good job. So I would take that as a badge of honor.
I
Um,
do. But you know, it's hard. You go in, can I tell a very quick story to
of
that?
course.
Andrea and I had to go to a SUNY meeting, and it was after, I'm sure I posted one of something that, that offended somebody, right? And I suffered from major anxiety. I don't mean like a little bit. I mean, I had to see a doctor and take medication for anxiety. And we were about to go into a SUNY meeting and we were at Starbucks. And I said, I can't go to the meeting. Like, because nobody knows what it is like to walk into a place and know the majority of people just don't want you there. They just don't want you there. And you feel it and you know it, and people tell you what they're saying. And right, like, oh, so and so said this about you, you're difficult. I probably was. Like, I'm not going to lie, I probably was. What's the context behind that? And Andrea knew I was suffering from anxiety. It was crippling at that moment. I was crippled with anxiety. Couldn't even move. Like, I can't go. And Andrea was just mad. She wasn't mad at me. She's like, we are going. We have a right to go, and we are going. And F everyone who has something to say, let them say it to us. And she got me through the meeting. And That's when I was like, I got to get the F out of, like, I got to put myself in a different position where I have the power to say and do what I need to do. So when you're trying to get over the hurdle of, but I'm telling the truth, I'm trying to be helpful, and I'm being portrayed as a bitch and difficult, it takes its toll. And I don't think literally, there's maybe three people who I see and talk to regularly who knows what it's like for me to walk into a room, right? And here's the thing. It takes even a better person who I'm not with to walk up to me and say, hello, it's nice to see you. But I will tell you, I found out quickly the schools that are like, we find you helpful, but we can't talk to you in public. And you know what? I have a long memory. So yeah, it's difficult. It's hard. I don't take anti-anxiety medicines anymore. I think I stopped the day June 29th when we started this business. I was like, I don't need Xanax anymore. Um, but I face that every single time I go someplace. And I don't think any people that will watch us will know what it's like to be at a national conference, walk into a place and feel eyes on you and know, like, or think they know who you are. It's hard. It's super hard.
All right, that is heavy, but now we have a nice one.
Okay.
What is the greatest success story for a client that you have worked with?
So we were helping Briante get a charter in Texas. It was supposed to be in McAllen, Texas. And the Texas process is a bunch of bullshit. Like, here's the application, but then you look in the application and then you're like, what? They did this presentation, and there's 10 other things in the presentation you need to put in the application. So it made like, I rarely lose my mind in the process, right? So I was so mad. I like wrote the Seton people and Aaron, because I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There's whatever. And we knew that they had to get through their hearing, and their hearings are not like we have in New York, which is they're for show. And we knew there were a group of people, I think it was 9 or 11, that will ask questions from Aaron as the lead applicant and Dan, who was the board chair. I sat and watched every hearing that I could watch. I took like a month. We're talking people are at the podium answering questions for an hour or 2 hours, which is ridiculous. So I watched these, listened to the questions, then listened to the questions that would be follow up from the people conducting the hearing, and then prepared Dan and Aaron for their hearing. Application is submitted. It is a good application. It is a good application. It is, we know it's one of the strongest applications Andrea has ever written. Sorry that you had to edit it all. So the hearing comes up. I'm so nervous. Right? I'm so nervous because we were taking 90 minutes to 2 hours every other day for me to run them through their paces, right? Like, Dan's in the military, so he said to me, I'm used to it. And I think Aaron said, my dad used to be a drill sergeant. We're good. It was, well, you just said this, say this. So I had to put a different hat on to do it. Hearing day comes up. I'm a nervous wreck. I'm living in Merritt Island at that time. I'm in my little office. I'm like freaking out. Andrea's watching, and I hear the questions coming from the board, and I hear the responses, and it's going on now over an hour. And they were asked this really difficult question, and I remember thinking, they know the answer to this. they're going to be able to answer it. And when they answered it, I started crying, like crying, because I knew we did it in a state that was not likely to give them a charter. And we see Andrea and your work, right? Like, and Joe's and Regina's, their words and their documents. People rarely see the work I do because they don't actually know what I do. It's all behind the scenes. It's all really direct conversations. It's all me putting people through the paces. And I would tell you, like, we've gotten other schools through, but it's the first time I heard something take place that I knew I captured every single thing they needed to know and do. And they did. And they got the school. And so that I think would be the first time that I actually felt I had run somebody through the paces so deeply, there was not going to be a misstep, and there wasn't. So that's the
That,
first time.
that's amazing prep. And so that's also not to like plug the business, but that's the kind of attention that you get when you work with Jill and Andrea on something like this. So I love that. I've heard that story and I love it and it's amazing. And it's a testament to like how well prepared you can get applicants before they go through this
Oh my
process.
God, just I was like sobbing. I called Andrea. She's like, they're gonna get the school. They're doing so well. I was like, that's why I'm crying. Like we see that other, not that I don't take a part in the applications and get people through the process, but like my work really starts once stuff is submitted. You're either going to know this or withdraw your application. Like that's going to be the deal. And so, and I love Aaron and I love the whole Bria team and Seton team. I love them. They deserve this charter so much. We were leaving nothing up to chance. And Dan and Aaron are amazing. So I was very lucky to have them.
That's awesome. All right. Tracy's third question is: what is your best advice for someone who is contemplating opening a new charter school in New York State?
Pay attention to the politics. I think people think if they live in a community and they have a lot of friends in that community, they think they can just drop an application and nothing gets you more enemies than thinking those friends will be around when you want to submit something that's political. So right now, I think my answer is pay attention to the politics. And we're watching that really play out in Buffalo and Rochester and Long Island. And in New York City, I guess, in some context, because there's a charter cap. Um, yeah, pay attention to the politics because the politics are killing us. And if you pay attention to the politics, you know there's no real advocacy going on, and that's a problem for the movement overall. And pay attention to that because if you
Your,
don't, you're not going to get a charter.
your upcoming writing will be touching on a lot of this. So
It will be.
stay tuned for that. Tracy closes with congratulations, Jilly. I wouldn't be here or I wouldn't be where I am without your help and guidance. Love ya. And
Thank you.
we thank Tracy Koren so much for those questions.
Thank you.
And thank you
Okay.
for
Wait,
answering.
I need 1 second to blow my nose.